And then
Really
it also,
exciting
it
meeting.
does a recording for the meeting too, which is then posted. And there we are. Okay. It looks like
hate
we
seeing
are
myself.
going.
Just hate it. Oops, hello.
I don't see the time on it though. We'll just go ahead, assume it's
What is
4
that?
o'clock.
That clock says
What
4
is your
o'clock up there.
assigned role
Okay.
going to be?
Pardon?
What is your assigned role going to be?
I have no idea.
Does anybody need an agenda?
Yes, please.
Maybe you sent it out.
Newspaper.
I did look at all the contracts, so on the.
Oh,
website.
good, good, okay. It's at 4 o'clock, call the Community Hall Advisory Committee to order. May 20th meeting, okay. And the approval of the March minutes is the first
April.
April minutes, thank you.
I have a couple of.
Oh, I thought I had that wrong on the
Yeah,
agenda.
it says March.
That's what you get when you rewrite agendas, you know, and you don't catch everything.
If you do,
So
it's-
make that correction on the agenda, the April minutes.
I have a couple questions or things we need to.
Okay,
So one of the things we voted to remove the posts in the back, and I didn't catch that.
oh, okay.
Hmm.
Do we fix it in this meeting with the approval? Cause we gotta have it written somewhere.
That I remember talking about it.
Yeah, we voted on it.
Okay.
Should we just add it to this
Um,
as a correction?
as a correction, I think
Okay.
would be, because I remember doing it and talking about it, and
Okay.
so just add,
So put it in the approval of minutes area.
okay.
I got a couple things.
Okay, so just so I get that for the,
Post removal.
The sign in the back.
which sign is this now?
It was the GISU sign.
There was an office here from the school,
Okay.
and they have two posts out back where the sign used to hang.
Okay,
And
so,
nobody could think of a new sign to hang from it.
so that's an adjustment?
An adjustment to the agenda,
Okay.
that we approved removal of the posts.
General. Two posts?
Yeah.
Two posts.
And then I think for municipal minutes too, we also have to do we have to do who said the motion and who seconded it
Okay,
as part of the
Tim-
record.
okay.
So just, and what the actual motion
Who
was.
seconded it? Well, okay, so you called, I also have to include who called the meeting into order, correct? And
Yeah.
that was you, as it
Yep,
is.
yep,
yes.
and and that's in the last time.
And then,
Oh, so we should have approval of the minutes.
right,
So it was.
so that comes after the
Yeah, we,
adjustment to the agenda.
yeah, I don't think we need to fix all that on this one. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Things got
Okay.
put in there
Confusing.
and we'll just.
Patty, are you the secretary?
Apparently so.
She is, right?
The newly appointed
She is
secretary.
now.
I feel your pain. I was on another board.
Whoa.
where you-
This is a new job for me. I've only done it this my third time.
Just if you're ever unsure, Patty, just remember you can go back and listen to the audio.
Okay.
You know, because that's what I've done at meetings where I've had to unsure of what to write.
Okay.
And then the other one was, I think we voted, the motion was to have rent a neighbor pressure wash the building at a cost up to $1,000.
Yes,
Mhm.
So we need to correct that, because it ended up being $985.
The cost of,
of up to 1,000.
Yeah. You,
to 1,000 times. May I ask just one more time, who the
I'm
post
gonna assume-
approval?
yeah, I can say I made the motion and
I
Jean
seconded it.
seconded
I
it.
seconded
Okay,
it.
And then the only other thing was, did we let Lisa know we changed the capital plan? Did you do that after the meeting or?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so we'll need to do.
But, you mean to change the,
The painting of the. building,
yeah,
but-
yeah, I will do that. This time I'll put it, there's something I
Okay.
need to do.
Is that something that needs to be
Yeah.
voted?
No, it's just that,
Okay.
who's gonna do things when we decide, and I don't think we decided, so I just wanna make sure. All right, so I move to accept the minutes with the two
As amended.
corrections as amended.
Okay.
A second,
A second.
Dean seconds.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. So that takes care of minutes. Paul, we did before the meeting started, but thank you
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
for doing this. I think,
Yeah,
I
sure,
think
sure.
it's great.
I was talking to Tracy and, I'm kind of familiar with this. When I was in Montpelier, I had historic church.
Oh,
We did
okay.
the same thing, we had to rent it out and to try to keep our financials floating.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was tough.
yeah.
But it was also a good opportunity for us to open our doors in a different way to the community. And I'm sure that that's the case here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I feel like I'm probably a good
Good
fit.
match.
I think so.
Yeah. And you also live a few doors away, so we can call you in a panic.
That's okay. That's what we do, right?
That's right.
It's a small town, you pitch in.
I was here.
It's closer though.
When they first moved in the hall, I was here at 2 in the morning one morning when the fire alarm. So,
Yep, I could share a war story.
okay, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Other than the approval of the two posts removal
Yeah,
and
no.
the move to have the building pressure washed at a cost of up to $1,000.
Then, to the minutes.
Yeah, he was talking.
I was, if anybody,
Sorry.
that's okay, I was talking about if anybody had adjustment to the agenda.
Okay.
You won't get
Okay.
fired, so don't worry.
Do it badly with somebody.
Hearing none, and public comment, none. Which brings us to financials, which Lisa, you've been getting the emails, correct?
I get emails.
Okay,
yes.
okay, that's good, that's
I'm not
the
sure what I'm supposed to
the
do. with
community.
it, but-
Well, one of the things that was sent out was the financials, and I don't know if you wanted to comment, Tracy's our treasurer, if you wanted to comment on those or not. But my comment is that from what I saw, we were at 64% of budget.
Yeah.
So, and we only have another 6 weeks to go, because it's a fiscal year is
July to
July. Yeah,
And rentals too with, I don't know if it's in this one or not, but we're
I
at,
saw the-
we usually get the financials beginning of the month.
yeah,
Okay.
And then they're a couple weeks
Lisa-
old, but
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and Lisa
I'll
sends
probably
them.
get it next month.
Yeah,
Anyway, we were at like 5,500 with our 6,000 budget already, so
Yeah.
she was pretty happy with that.
6,000 for.
What revenue was our projected revenue, so. That was good.
and what happened last year, and I hope it can happen this year, we'll have to see with the open meeting law. Tracy and I met with Lisa and just went through line by line.
Okay.
And then we brought the budget here for
Mhm.
approval by the,
Mhm.
but
And that's monthly that we get those financials?
we should be getting
Okay.
it monthly.
She sends them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just a community hall.
And you just had 6,000 in revenue for the.
For the rentals, yeah, that
That's
was
what,
our budgeted, that's what we,
the total budget is,
it's a different page. I think, right? With the revenue is a different page.
yeah. But I was looking at our total budget isn't 6,000.
No. Yeah.
Just the rental?
That's just the rental,
Yeah.
revenue.
Is that up from last year? or-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're doing it.
which takes a chunk out of what we spend, so.
And I did write, we want to put this in, I did write the letter to the Vermont Community Foundation and they'll be sending the check for
Oh, okay.
$35,325 on May 30th.
Oh, good, okay.
So that will cover our $32,000 shortfall.
So the Vermont,
Community Foundation, the
Mhm.
letter was written.
I keep looking at the select board reports and thinking, when are we getting rid of that minus?
Maybe your first meeting in June for $35,325. And it was approved.
I'm sorry,
in
35,000.
$1,325.
Yep,
And it was approved and they will send the check at May 30th.
Yeah,
And what was that grant for?
That is, well, we had done the porch, underneath the porch, we'd done a lot of things and we're overspent.
Okay,
A lot of it had to do with the move and some of the things that had to be done for code, so we just made a
Right.
list of everything and the paving. And she had told us, the woman at the Vermont Community Foundation, this is the Courtney Fisher Fund.
that's the
I told-
foundation, that's the income we have from
Yeah,
that.
Mhm.
that we can take 5%, and so I had checked in with her and asked her if we could kind of back
oh, yeah,
with this next
Backdate.
one, yeah, so that we did all these projects,
it's
so
money worth spent,
Yes,
money
yeah.
well spent.
Yeah,
it just only means now we won't be able to get another one for a year from now.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
that's,
That's
but
okay.
then we're on the right side of our.
Right.
Yeah. yeah, right. And so if nobody has any questions, it looks. I just went through quickly and see where we were overspent and underspent, thinking about how we, next fall, we'll adjust the budget. Janitorial is the main thing. We put money in there for janitorial and we haven't spent that.
And we lowered it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we had lowered it, so.
Yeah. The other thing is a while ago, I was saying, well, we've got to expense more about what the office uses, because if you look at electricity, the office uses more electricity
Sure.
than here, but
Mm.
I calmed down from that and it's and it's just community hall expenses and since it all comes out of the same pot. To me, it used to, but it doesn't make any difference to me now. It's just we pay to maintain this building. And some of the things we pick up, I don't know if they should be office expenses or not, but that's
You'll
just,
tweak it probably as you go forward.
exactly,
Thinking, that's what we used to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
and,
yeah.
So maybe before I leave, you could give me a copy of that just to peruse it. to get-
Sure. Sure.
So is this considered a municipal building?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And that's why,
it Doesn't pay rent because it's.
Yes,
it's-
yeah.
okay.
yes, yeah. And our budget is about 80,000 a year. I mean, and we have the revenues of 6,000, which helps offset that, but the 80,000 is keeping this building going and in the condition it's in, which
Yeah.
is one of the main functions of the
This committee
committee is to make sure the building
Stays.
stays in good condition, yeah.
I feel very strongly about
Yeah.
that. I do.
And
I mean, this is a gift.
Yeah.
to this
You
town.
think?
It's, I still can't understand why there was so much controversy, but
You're in good
It's just
company.
yeah. And
Tracy crazy, that's why.
well,
we're lucky to have this building and I keep going back to the, what was it, 34 they built it, 30?
30.
30, that, it was a strain on the community then to put this building up, but they did it for a sense of community and
Yeah.
I think we're the
It's absolutely the right thing to do. And-
trustees of that.
And this is a gift.
Okay,
It's a gift.
Look at all the stuff we've done here so far.
And there's so many good community events that happen and that are happening here organically, which I think is healthy for the entire town.
exactly. Yep. Okay, so that's, if there are no questions on the financials, we'll go over those, I think, next month. June will be our last meeting before the new fiscal year. So.
How does the budget get put together?
We look at each line item and tweak it.
And Lisa has big input
Okay.
on
Is
that.
part of the reason the janitorial is so low is because you do it
Well,
and Corinne does it?
so what's happened, I think, we weren't sure how that was gonna play out and what their jobs were gonna be in the town and how much effort it would take. So right now, basically, they clean just regular cleaning every Monday,
Friday.
Friday, no, Monday, I think.
Is it Monday?
Monday,
Okay.
and, it was Friday, I think.
Oh, okay.
So he comes in every Monday, so he really hasn't had to do, anything from the events and things. Other than what, the meetings and those, the boots and the trash and all that. Because we can talk about it when we do the
Sure.
contracts, but people clean,
I saw that was a. part of
yeah, the
contract.
expectation is that you leave it the way you found it, and most of the time.
It's been good,
Mhm.
good.
So, and one of the things we talked about was if the people wanted to have them clean it, but if they go over their 40 hours. Then it's overtime, so it's time and a half and it costs more and, in the winter it's snow plowing, in the summer it's lawn mowing, so trying to find that balance.
Sure.
But I don't, he hasn't complained about.
No, and one of the justifications of having a second public works person full-time was they could put some time into this building.
Well, that's a win-win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems to be working at
Good.
now. And then, like he said, when we have some time in a rainy day, he's gonna paint these benches, things like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Great. Okay. Rentals is next. I think that will take care of financial. You have sent some new requests
I
in
have,
that
yeah.
I've seen. And if you ever want to check the rentals, look on the town,
Okay, it's on
the town website, on the calendar.
Okay.
All the events are listed
That's
there.
good to know, because I did not know that.
Big Spectrum we know about, and I don't need any help with that. They're only gonna be here for a short time, so the next one is June 28th. Celebration of Life,
Oh, okay.
and they're coming in at 11:45, so I would need some help setting up at maybe after yoga around 10:15. Maybe if you can get that right in the minutes, then if we,
I'm sure
If you forget.
I can be here
I can
then.
it's only 40 chairs and, but
Oh.
it's 7 big round tables.
Oh, okay.
So they're. a
When they
little more-
call for that.
Yeah.
He's the one that can lift him off the stage.
Chairs and.
7
Okay.
big tables.
And are they using the projection?
Nope,
Okay,
no, we haven't mentioned it yet.
okay.
The next one is July 11th, and that's a graduation party. And she's rented it before. She does it for teenagers to give them safe space.
Yes.
That's 3 to 10, and I don't believe I'm gonna need any, they do it all, pretty sure.
No help for that then, dude?
Not right, not at this
3
moment.
PM to 10 PM?
And, they're really good about it, at cleaning and everything. And then September 6th, we have a 50th anniversary party, and that's midday. Still just waiting on the logistics for that one.
What was the date on that thing?
September sixth.
September 6th,
Sixth, okay.
Saturday. I think July 11th is a Friday,
Okay,
and June 28th is a.
50th anniversaries usually aren't too wild, so.
Yeah.
There's that.
Interestingly, they got married here. The people, they got married here, they had their 20th
Really?
anniversary here and
That's neat.
the 50th, yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, that's nice.
So they're local.
Well, we live in Outberg now, but the family, the whole family kind of grew up here and
Who's it?
that's neat.
So the only one
Hanson.
it's the June 28th,
Colin, yeah.
the only one you need help with.
Yeah, right
Okay.
now, yeah. If that changes with the July 11th one, we'll have a meeting before then, but.
Okay,
no.
Do you get requests for?
Well, it's increasing.
That's a good thing.
It's increasing. I've got a lot of
Word-
feelers
you mean
out
word of
too.
mouth?
Yeah, and I think, we've had a few big events here. The school meeting and one of the big school meetings was all the 5 towns and
Okay.
then we did the movie and so I think the bigger events have allowed people to see what it's capable of. And so
That's
word
cool.
is getting out.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you want that to be the case? Ish?
To
Yeah.
a point. Because, I mean, if it gets
It's,
significantly busier, then you can't rely on volunteers to
Right.
be setting up chairs and tables and that stuff,
I understand, and then there's
Yeah.
wear and tear.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you get a bad group. I've run into that,
Yeah. Yeah.
that leave it a mess.
Yeah. And that really hasn't happened, but
Good.
it's been pretty,
Well, you were really to the point on the expectation.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I reiterate that when I meet with them
Yeah.
and give them the key to the closet and.
Yeah,
okay.
So,
And
I mean,
then,
it's gonna happen to some
I
point,
know,
but.
at some point, well, yeah.
So,
the documents.
yep, we'll do that too, and then. I did wanna tell you, so this anniversary party and this. He has it on here, but maybe we'll talk about it first.
Oh, actually, yes, I did.
Oh, yeah, I have a contract here.
Okay, but I've redone it all, so.
Okay,
Oh,
Okay, so-
that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, so this 50th anniversary party, and this issue has come up several times where it's a small gathering and they want alcohol. And we say you have to have a
licensed.
licensed caterer, bartender, so on and so forth. So I don't know, they were upset about it because 50 people for an anniversary party, maybe 75 from 2 to 4, and to have to pay somebody $500, $600 to serve, and they won't let them serve their alcohol.
Yeah,
And
right.
they were
right.
just basically talking champagne toast and maybe some wine. So Parks and Rec, on their form, I looked at their form, and Corinne remembered that this tulip coverage. So I will give
Oh, I
you,
wondered what that was.
um,
Well, you can go online with
yep,
the state.
so this
Yeah.
this is what it is,
Okay.
and we actually were already signed up for it. But the hall was not named correctly and the address was wrong and we didn't have a venue code, so, I didn't write down the venue code for you either, or is it online? Somebody have one that's written in pen?
This one?
Yeah, but that's okay. Let me just write down the full, just in case you.
So this is the website we can send people to.
Yep, and Corinne's gonna put it
Oh, okay.
on the website, but I have it in the new documents as well, but $75 and they can get the insurance for the day to host with alcohol.
And then they can.
And they can serve themselves. And
Yeah.
what it does is, I believe what it does is, relieves the town of
Hold harmless.
liability.
That's great.
And I think for the big events, we'll absolutely
Yes.
keep it.
Yeah.
But when it's, 2 to 4 in the afternoon, then I think this is
I
appropriate.
think so too. No, we ran into that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
And sometimes we kind of like look the
Yeah,
other way.
yeah.
And you don't really want to do that.
yeah,
Yeah, right. You can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
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 So that solved that problem, so I'm really excited about that.
Good.
'Cause that'll mean
But-
maybe more smaller events that,
Cause we've talked about this last night at the select board meeting,
yeah.
and this website didn't come up, but I remembered that's what the Parks and Rec did,
Yes,
so,
yeah.
okay.
All right, so then, so what I did, and we've been talking about this for a while. So I went all through it. I mean, I had things like Board of Trustees, and that's not our name.
Yeah, that's what
Did you write this? Tracy?
Yeah,
I thought so.
yeah.
uh,
So I've done a lot of tweaking to the whole thing, so I think probably what we should do is. I can tell you some of the highlights of what I've done, is that take it, peruse it and vote on it, perhaps the next meeting, until we get things fixed. So one of the big changes, and I mean, I just tried it, so we had our base rate for the hourly at 25. I didn't raise that. Nonprofit 20. And then I added a rate for for-profit entities to $35 an hour. And I didn't know if that, I just took a shot. Then for thinking about those prices, and then cause we always had $150 a day. And then I'm thinking, I was laying in bed thinking, why do that? Not have a day rate, just by the hour. 8 hours is whatever it is, right? I mean, do you see?
Well, if they rented it for the day, say 9 to 5, that's 9 hours.
Right. So rather than do a day rate, I'm thinking just take that out of there and just do by the hour.
I don't see where this is what I printed from the website.
No,
There,
you need the new one. here.
okay,
You'll need this one to make comparisons.
Okay.
but
This is the revised,
Totally,
okay.
totally.
What do you think is the downside of doing it that way? I don't,
I don't know why, we threw in $150 a day. I can't remember what our thinking was around that. Maybe it's just because that's what the Historical Society did.
Mm.
So then I was thinking about the day, and then Carl was saying, well, it's for bulk versus buying bulk versus, buying one item. And I'm thinking, well, to simplify it, it's just how many hours they're here.
I-
Does that
I
make
think
sense?
it works for
Just
me.
cleaner.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay, so I'm gonna take that out,
You're
All
taking
those-
out,
all the per day things.
okay,
Alright,
Oh, so where it says 200 a day, just take that out.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will revise these, but,
Okay,
and there's some wording, because when I first did it, I didn't always have the tense right and stuff, so
It's okay.
you'll want, you'll wanna, not necessarily that you have to.
well, we can take this
Yes.
back and wordsmith it and then approve it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Should we send corrections to you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, these hourly rates are very reasonable.
Well, that's, I
Yeah.
think probably too
Yeah.
reasonable,
I-
but.
So too.
But our first on the rental fee, and we talked a long time about this when we first were getting this together, that are affordable for community
I can
organizations.
understand that.
And then so that was one of the lines I added, is that the advisory committee oversees fees and may use its discretion with events that don't align precisely with the following rates and uses. So that gives us a little bit of
Oh,
I
wiggle
like that.
room.
Like that.
a wiggle room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're probably gonna have a situation
Yeah.
where you have to make a decision.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And then for the large events, and we put that at a high rate.
I don't think that's that crazy.
No, it's not for a wedding
No.
and things like that, and you would, I think we prefer to encourage the smaller events.
Mhm.
Because those
Sure.
big, weddings are,
We're not
Are-
there.
they are. I did increase it to 125 because we've had a few events, where there were close to 100 people, but it was just a meeting.
Mm.
And so I was thinking maybe a little more.
Do you have a number from the fire department on what you can?
Yeah, we can do 269.
so
Yeah,
are we not doing an hourly rate then? It's gonna be
yes, we're gonna do an hourly rate, take off the day rate.
on both the small and the large events?
But you're still on on the large event, you're gonna still keep it at
1,500. yeah.
And I think that's very
Seems right.
reasonable.
Well, that's what I was asking, so for the large events, it will stay at a day rate.
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's,
you know, I don't think you wanna nickel and dime on something like that because there's so much effort that goes into that.
it is. And I've done a few weddings here, so
I'm sure.
I know that
The
it's,
cleanup.
and it's a lot,
Yep,
a lot.
especially when there's alcohol.
Yeah, yep, and that's, okay. Anyway, so then chairs and tables, I left that the same. I did add the addition of the small round tables that we have back there because they have used those several times.
And took out the piano.
I took out the piano and I also took out the disco ball because right now we don't, and I almost took out the theater light system. Because we
Oh,
don't,
Paul.
well.
Yeah.
you know,
I gotta laugh.
We have two of them, even bigger ones. Because we lost Wayne, who put that all together. We don't have somebody that has expertise
Okay.
to get that all up and
I
running.
don't know,
So,
the 50th anniversary, wedding anniversary,
well, the kids wanted it big time,
right.
but they bring a DJ and he's got all his lights. and-
Mhm.
All right, so, and let's see, what else? Damage deposit, so I reworked that a little bit to for new groups. I
Oh, the
usually
damage
request the
deposit,
damage
okay.
deposit. And it's with somebody I haven't worked with before.
And then it gets reimbursed if everything is done.
Yeah,
correctly?
and often, so, what I'll do is, if they've paid 250, then I'll do the invoice after the event. And then subtract it, so that either we owe them money or they owe us a little bit, and that has worked out pretty well. So. Just tweaked some of this within there, let's see,
Tracy, did I
Yep.
miss something for just a second? If you
Yep.
go back to that rates for equipment,
Sure, yep,
the catering kitchen,
yep,
that is changed from determined by use to 150 per day or determined by.
yeah, because. They're gonna use it and cook and do everything in there. I was trying to say that it could cost them more by
Yeah.
putting the plus. And on the same, like Spectrum used it, just to, make cookies,
Virtually nothing.
virtually nothing.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
I charged them what, $10 or something.
Okay.
So just trying to be flexible.
Got it.
And then I don't know, maybe I wanted to give a feeling of how much it would cost to use the kitchen. But maybe we just put determined by use, but I don't. And, I mean, that would be a conversation I would have when they call me up and say. We wanna do this, that, or the other thing, and right now, I say it's a pain to use the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Right.
And so what's happened most of the time is the caterers just bring it ready to go, cause they have all those packs.
Well-
That they can use and,
When the piano's gone, I think we need to look at this area
yes, yeah,
for caterers who bring their own
yeah,
stuff.
That's an idea.
And maybe we might need some more electrical
Yes,
outlets or
yeah.
something like that.
yeah.
But this is much more convenient to use
Yeah.
for the catering.
Yeah, the historical side, it was actually gonna maybe even put a small sink up there and.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know if that's, this point, makes sense, but anyway, so,
Yep. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
So, and then on the technical equipment and staffing, I gave a little bit of. Open that up to perhaps it doesn't, if they're just gonna use the sound system and use the microphone, they don't need to have a technician. So I opened it up unless the North Hero Advisory Committee has permitted that a technical person is not needed.
Oh, okay.
So gave us some leeway with that as well.
It's been my experience that the time we run into problems with that is when they have their technical.
Yes, yeah. I can
If they
clarify that.
don't have their technical person, we just show them how to hook it up.
Yeah.
And that's it. When they have,
Yeah.
they want to make changes.
That's.
And that's where the, yeah.
And I think, so what I've learned is that, couple of things is that you need one person. And when the couple of times where I was, somebody else on the committee would text me to do something but I wasn't the person who I talked to. So I need to keep it at one person. one person gets the key, one person.
Yeah.
I
I
think
tell,
that makes sense.
because it just gets all over the
Well,
place.
you need to keep it simple for you too.
Yes, and that event, particular event was not simple because there were too many people had their
Yeah,
hands in it, and so it got very difficult, but it happened and it worked out, but. So then, let's see, tulip coverage I added in there. So,
Oh, okay.
Events with alcohol may, are added insurance cards for small events that require insurance, event coverage can be obtained through. So got that, put that right in there in the website. I added it under the alcohol tulip insurance cover needs there. Then what I thought. Because the way we had it set up, I would send them 2 documents. And they have to sign this one, so I have turned it into 1 document. And so you can see, I'll put the page numbers at the bottom, but page 6 is the actual contract.
No,
So when Lisa gets it or Corinne gets it sent back, or I get it sent back, it's not 2 different documents, it's gonna all be one.
Good.
That.
oh, okay. Yeah.
So then I tweaked this one to match what we had decided, so I'll take out those day rates. And that, fix that, but, I made it a little more so they could see it again, see it again, and then that's when I changed that up to rental costs, total due at conclusion of events, and invoice will be sent. Let's see. And then added the forms must be included with the rental contract. The only other thing I was thinking of adding is maybe a checklist. This is what you need. Just trying to say, you need the contract sent, you need the money, you need just so they have it, cause it seems like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was thinking of adding that.
so do Corinne and Lisa field requests for this as well?
Well, so what's happened is they send them to me.
Okay,
Or I get an email from somebody, it triggers my email when they go, we took the documents off, because initially when they did the new website, Corinne had let people, you just go into there and you fill out the form and you put your thing on the calendar, it's like, you can't do that. So she took that all down, only the documents are there. So, right now it works pretty well. I get the request. And then I've got.
And people
and
can
I-
see the documents.
Yeah, and I keep the calendar and I keep all this town stuff too, so that I know what's happening and what dates are and sent dates out. The only couple of times that I'm gonna talk to Corinne about this is that sometimes they get requests and put stuff on the calendar, but like right now, I have people I've talked to and I've said, these are dates that are available, especially if it's like during the week at night and there's not, maybe it's a 5th week and where there is
Oh,
those
yeah,
regular
yeah, yeah.
meetings, but they've put things on the calendar. It hasn't been a problem yet, but I could foresee it being a problem. So even the town committee should just do it through me and then I'll tell them to put it on the calendar. So. I mean, it works pretty well, but that just having, I think we learned that at the Historical Society is that just one person does it. Cause, puts the dates on and gets that organized, cause you're talking to somebody and you're talking. to
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah, yeah.
and Somebody's gonna show up at the same time, which is my greatest fear.
oh, that's it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That would be bad.
that would be very bad,
Whoops. Yeah,
yeah. So,
so are you a volunteer?
yep.
I think that's something that maybe someday we wanna think about that.
Well, and initially we had actually, no, I mean, even at the historical society level, that, this could be a stipend
It's a
job.
paid position, it
Right.
could be.
But not that I'm doing it for that reason, but and I think in our
Yeah.
rules and procedures, we have
Yeah,
event facilitator or something, so,
I mean, I know it's near and dear to your heart, and
Yeah.
it's important,
yeah.
but, if you got hit by a bus.
Right, Yeah, exactly.
You know,
No,
all of us could happen.
Yeah.
Um,
no, it's true. And, you know, maybe that's what we should strive for, because that would help us all, right?
Yeah.
So,
You know, that it be.
I mean, it would take some pressure off of you
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
but I just
Mhm.
wanted to bring that up.
I would like to be thinking about that and move in that direction. We've shied away definitely from involving, besides the calendar,
Yeah,
Lisa and
Yeah.
Corinne, because they have enough to do without
Right,
yeah.
managing this.
Yeah.
You
right.
know, so,
And there's, you know, the dog catchers getting $3,500, you know.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah, I think there should be a stipend for managing this.
Rental management,
I do,
Yeah.
I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can, in, September,
27, yeah.
when we start budget stuff, that would be the time to talk
That's when
about
we
that
start that
then.
in September?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
It'll be for the 26, 27.
okay,
Yeah, yeah, because we have the budget that's coming up, that's
Right,
starting
for
July
July.
1st.
Yeah.
And then before it's even implemented, you're starting on the, or it's in place for 2 months when you're starting on the new one, you know, so it's always guesses,
yeah.
yeah. Educated guesses.
Well, it's a moving target.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think we should definitely think about that. The question I have about, should we, um. Should we have the Tarrant, who's the town attorney, look at this before it's finalized?
hmm. I like Corinne's "don't poke the bear" attitude.
I know.
That's for-
I
for-
subscribe to that as often as I get it. That's a
I-
good question though, but still,
But the thing I think of, where did this start?
Oh, my gosh.
I know, yeah,
Well, the Historical Society had one.
yeah, I know.
And we used, there's one other, and I can't remember if it's Ferrisburg, there's another group that
Oh,
is, or maybe even a couple of groups, and, you know, I reached out for their documents and and talked to them, and so it's kind of
yeah.
transformed over the years to,
I mean, the thing with it is, will he complicate it even more?
this won't look like this once the attorney gets hold of it. I
Yeah.
guarantee that.
and I don't think, like, I looked at, Park and Rec. And, I mean, they have everything, just, it's, you know, it's 4 pages and it's not, I mean, it's spelled out to a
Yeah,
degree,
yeah.
but, that definitely hasn't been lawyered.
Okay,
So I
Okay.
think I would,
So here's the question, has Harry Parker seen this, do you know?
no, but he
Okay.
might look at it, but he also would be, you know,
Yeah, but he's also on the select board
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
realizes what
yeah,
you need to get done
yeah.
yeah,
without creating a monster.
I could ask, or somebody could just ask if they think this should be done.
Yeah,
Harry's not a municipal lawyer, so he would, that's why we have a town lawyer. You know, who we pay, what,
well, I'll talk to Corinne. and
600
Lisa
an
about it
hour or
and see.
something?
I don't, who was the person?
Tarrant is his
I
name.
don't know him.
He's in Montpelier.
Oh,
And what his practice is municipalities
Okay.
mostly. So it's somebody who is, you may not always agree with, but that's what, you know,
well, he's probably out to protect the municipality.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his job.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I went through it because we rewrote all the cemetery regulations and everything to match all the state statutes, because they didn't, and it was a very long process, and then he took it and but the legalese.
Yeah.
It didn't change it that much, but.
Yeah. Um. What I will do, is I'll just email Harry and tell him, this is the contract we've been using, we're just kind of tweaking it a little bit. Does he think it's, the only thing I worry about is if there's something in there that's a liability issue.
Mhm.
And who knows, I mean,
Well, and that may be having people do their own cleaning and things like that, you know, and setting up, and so I'm not sure
Right.
at this point, wanna go down that road, but.
Okay, so I'll just do a quick email to Harry and say, do you think we should?
Well, then you're gonna.
Because it is a legal, it is a legal document.
Yeah, you know what he's gonna have to say, he's gonna say, but is every other group doing that, you know, is that gonna set the tone for Parks and Rec and?
I will hold off on contacting Harry. But-
Let me talk to Corinne and.
But
I
keep
talked to
that in the
Corinne
back
and I
of
said-
people's minds.
Yes, yeah.
That if, does it need to be reviewed?
Legitimate question.
Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely.
Definitely.
So then, if you guys will look at it very carefully, read like each word.
Okay,
Okay,
Make sure that what's in the contract is,
and send to you,
yeah.
questions or revisions
Yeah,
sent to you.
Things are good.
If you want to collect those, I'd be glad to sit down with you
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do
And I
that.
think for the open meeting law, what you have to do, you have to email separately, like even when Patty sends the
Minute.
minutes, we should respond to her only and not to the group.
Yes, please.
Not reply.
It gets
Not
confusing.
reply.
It's,
So not reply all ever
Okay.
for the meetings. from
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
Training that I went to.
like Tracy and I can sit down because it's not a quorum and go over documents, but we couldn't ask for advice to the group.
Yeah.
Because then that involves everybody. So,
So and then maybe we'll put it on the agenda for.
For next time, definitely.
Then.
And I think we can probably put it on the agenda for next time as approval
Yeah.
of new
Yeah.
contract.
Okay.
Yeah,
so Tracy, you want us to go through this and then send you our comments?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, questions, comments,
Yep.
and then if there's, like, you know, each time I change something on the contract here, I change it on the contract so that they say the same thing.
Okay.
And I will take off the day rate thing per day stuff.
Okay.
Um,
I think we've done a really good job.
yeah.
And I know that it's probably been over a couple of years.
over 20 years.
Oh, is that long?
Well, no, to write the documents, that's, yeah, that's.
You know, when I read through it, it felt to me like it was very comprehensive and because I've been in the same situation, I appreciated
Yeah.
everything that you put in there to make it smarter, not harder.
Yeah. And I did look at Parks and Rec thinking, you know, so I kind of ticked off, what do they have, what do we have? And they have pretty similar, but they just rent $200 a day and and then you get the coverage if you're gonna have, there's nothing about. You know, it's not as
Do
comprehensive.
they have like alcohol?
So they do the same thing, they
Same
give
thing
the
with tulip.
tulip
Okay.
coverage.
That makes sense.
And so many people and so on and so forth, but it seemed like this was more comprehensive. And it should be, I mean, this is a different building than the
Yeah.
Longhouse
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
grounds
Yeah.
and
How'd the plant sale go?
good,
Oh, good.
yeah, I think they sold a lot.
Seems a lot small, and people said, no, it wasn't, but to me, it looked smaller than it has in past years.
It was raining when I drove by. I didn't stop even, you know.
And if
it
you
was-
get there early, and when they first opened, it wasn't raining.
Yeah,
No, that went well.
Ryan said they made a pile of money.
and we have nothing coming up that we need to worry about setting up for.
This June 28th,
Just,
we'll have a.
June 28th is it? Okay. Okay,
When will be our next meeting?
then it's the,
The 20th?
Um,
17th.
Okay.
No, that's good to put on the minutes too,
Yeah,
the bottom,
Yeah.
that's
when the
helpful.
next one is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and you can check on the town calendar too, because the meetings are listed on
Okay.
on the town
You said the
calendar.
17th, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fortunately, that'll be here before we know it.
Piano.
Island Arts does not want it. So. I don't know how we wanna proceed. When the guy came, Charles Ralston, he's the piano guy, he came to look at it for Island Arts to see if it was a good piano. And it's a Weber grand piano. He estimated it to be worth approximately $8,000 to $10,000. The guy recommended just a couple of things to the tune of maybe $600, but it wasn't even anything that.
For
um,
tuning and everything, for
For
repairs.
something that, in, something with the sound. But it wasn't a big deal if Island Arts was gonna take it, he was saying you would need to spend like $600.
Yeah.
But that it's a good piano, I mean, it has the cover, it has the humidification system. I don't know if anybody's would wanna buy it.
Those are so hard to.
I know, so if we just should offer it for free and prefer that it's a nonprofit or.
I wonder,
I would,
I wonder if a church would want it for their worship services or performances. Probably nobody up here. would
No, I
want
don't think,
it.
yeah,
Are you looking to donate it?
yeah, I think, well, we have to decide.
We were gonna donate it to Island.
But I,
Arts.
well, and I was gonna I mean, I felt strongly that
Yeah,
Island Arts is a nonprofit in the North Hero Islands and that
Right.
they used it and, I mean, it was given to us also.
It's such a beast to move those.
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Exactly.
When you play it in, I mean,
Expensive.
they, Island Arts used to use it a lot for events and, other concerts we've had here and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful in this building,
Yeah, I'm sure.
but it's a beast.
It is. You would have to hire a group.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it'd have to be a piano
I'm
movie.
not volunteering for
No.
that job.
Used to be on the stage.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
and part of the thinking on that was I didn't realize people were talking, if there's an event here where you need a piano, people bring a keyboard,
Mm,
Right,
you know?
Mm.
Yeah,
Right.
Technology has changed.
Yes, and
Mhm.
Sometimes they don't even bring that.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, yeah.
it's too bad that,
Yeah.
that you're stuck with that.
Yeah. We had a second one up on the stage, but we were able to, but it wasn't a good one, so. It's gone. But I don't think we wanna do that to this one.
You don't have any, like, time is not of the essence at this point.
No, my goal would be to have it out of here by
Fall.
2026,
Okay.
because then we'll have the money to redo the floor.
Floors, yeah.
And it's such a great space. I mean, people use it, we used to have a plastic cover on it because it basically works as a table.
Yeah.
When there's, but
Yeah.
that's such a good bar space and, you know, and with the pass through, even for food and things, it just works so well, but to have that sitting there is a troublesome. So pass the word and then maybe,
I'll put some thought into it.
yeah, we can do a front porch forum post. I thought maybe when more people get here. But I mean, if you know churches or.
I don't, but I know our church in Montpelier wanted to get a grand piano and they finally did. I don't know how they did it. But they were on a dollar budget.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that would be in demand for a really musical congregation that
Yeah.
would want that,
Yeah.
but
But it's big.
it's big. And that would be a good sized facility that would need that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I'll put some thought into that.
So are we all thinking free? Yeah, so maybe somebody should make that motion that we're willing to donate.
Yeah, because moving it,
It's gonna cost.
it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
Even the little one, I had the little one gone and, he was all set and he could do the work on it and it was gonna cost $800. And it was,
To move
and
it,
it was a baby grand, yeah. And of course, he couldn't even do that, so.
I'll make a motion that we explore ways for the piano to be a donation.
Mhm.
And it can be private or public, or preference is public.
Yeah.
But, so I'll make a motion that we explore ways to, have someone accept the piano as a donation.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
I think it's worthwhile,
Opposed?
and, if we can think of an organization that could benefit the community by that kind of a gift,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that would be a win-win-win.
and it was for us. I mean, we rented it out at $75 each time and if it was a 5-day thing, it was 5 days, and so it was great. I mean, but then it became an albatross.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
Yeah, and Island Arts right now, for some reason, the people, they rent one. And, the people don't use it in the summertime, so it's
Yeah.
perfect, yeah, so then it goes back, and they pay to have it tuned and moved, and so. And then it's gone in the winter, not sitting there in the cold barn in the winter,
Right.
but I guess cold doesn't affect it, it's the mice and the.
Oh,
humidity probably.
Well, it's got.
I know,
but
yeah.
Critters or depending on where it's gonna go, then that was the concern about the barn.
right.
Anyway, so we'll
Okay,
keep your ears open. talk to
Okay.
people.
which brings us to lawn
Yeah,
maintenance.
just wanted to let you know, so I had met with, or reached out to Mark Martin.
Mhm.
Apparently, Public Works already had, so Public Works is doing the lawns.
Oh, great,
So,
okay.
but that also will adjust our budget, which would be nice, so.
Because we paid for that in the past.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
And they actually done a really, so the problems that we've had with, stuff growing up the side, they're weed whacking it.
Oh,
every time,
good.
All the way back in there.
Great.
Good.
So, and all along because Mark is
And-
along with the,
Saving that expense will
Yeah.
help offset.
yeah,
The master gardeners had been doing the garden in
Yeah.
front.
yeah.
They no longer were doing it, and we've hired Mama's Gardens
Okay.
which is about 2,000 a year, I think, was that?
26, I think.
Yeah,
25.
yeah. So by not paying for lawn, that'll help offset
That's what I
the
was-
fee for the garden.
Referring to before, you kind of weave as you go forward.
And we had talked, that reminds me, we had talked, and I don't think we did anything about setting up a watering schedule.
Right,
That's right.
That's right.
We did talk about that.
Yeah.
Did talk about it.
Did we do that last year?
no, because, Master Gardener.
Master
They-
gardeners
taking
did.
care of the lawn.
Oh,
So,
That's right.
and one thing we had talked about was, each person taking a month.
Right, right. And how frequently would,
Well, it
That may
depends. I mean, after this week.
yeah, but Dean says it's gonna be a hot summer.
But it's also established.
Um,
It's an established garden, so it's not as critical. as-
Yes, right, right.
Right, it's not like-
I would think, but also it's raised, so it
Yeah,
dries out faster. But I would think checking it once a week
yeah.
would
I'm
be,
happy to help with that.
okay.
I'm ready.
I would be glad to take a month where,
I know.
where I check on it.
There is a hose out here.
Is it in the front?
Yeah, just that raised area in the front.
That's all that needs the maintenance.
Yep,
And the hose is right here.
and the hose is right here
Where's right here?
Right here.
on the side of the building.
Outside,
Just,
and
just,
do you need to turn on a spigot?
yeah, I mean, that's it. You just turn on the
So
spigot.
just those gardens out there, we don't have to do anything over here.
No, no,
It's kind of a piece of cake.
yeah.
Really.
I will be glad to take June, unless somebody else wants that month.
I'll take July.
Okay,
Take August, I guess.
I guess that gives me September.
We'll be pulling out all the.
Yeah, you have to weed, you have to weed too on that.
no, we don't have to weed.
There's some weeds out there that I walked by to.
Okay, so you're doing
I'll
July,
do July.
God,
Dean is
picture.
doing July,
So
August,
I'm-
Paul,
Yeah.
Dean is,
and September, Patty.
Yeah.
And it should be going to sleep in October.
Yeah, and if anybody gets stuck, I'm
Same.
next door, so I
Same.
can.
Just
do-
call me.
You know, if you're gonna be gone, or it's been
Yeah.
dry hasn't rained for, 2 weeks or.
So how do we want to do this? And we'll just check it, and if we think it needs to be.
If you think it needs water.
Water.
unless it's pouring out, just.
Okay.
And I would think once a week would be enough.
Yeah, they didn't water it once a week, cause I mean,
Yeah,
they sit right there.
Yeah, and a lot of it is shrubs
That-
type stuff, so the roots go deep.
Wait, who did I miss? So I had,
I didn't.
In July.
Dean's July,
oh, I thought you were June, sorry,
I'm June, I'm
Maybe
June,
June.
okay,
Yeah.
so,
No.
and Dean is
Summer's a
July.
busy time, so.
Paul is August,
Mhm.
which may be the busiest month,
Yeah.
and you are September.
Oh, that's right, I have it down, I have it correct, I just.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And then, we won't worry about October at this
Do
point,
that if it's, whatever.
Oh, October,
Spending.
yeah.
yeah. And building maintenance, are we done with one?
Yep.
That's good that
Yeah.
they're doing it,
doing
I'm
a
glad,
nice
I'm
job.
glad they're doing it.
Just pleased with the
Um,
vacuum.
We just got this afternoon from Lisa, the Pest Pro
Yeah,
thing.
Spiders?
Yeah,
I just got
which is a
mine
bill
back.
for $250. I don't think we need to do anything about that. The select board will get that bill.
and so. The guy who did the pressure washing, he did an amazing job. Just, I don't know if you looked at. the-
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Looks like it was
Yeah,
painted.
yeah,
It's great.
no,
It-
it's
it-
really.
And I saw him up on ladders getting under the eaves here and,
And
yeah,
Carl did help him at the end, cause he wanted to
Oh.
go up on that all.
with the,
With it, yeah, so
yeah.
I brought the lift over and, helped him with that, but he did a great
They
job.
did the building?
The whole entire thing,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
nice
great.
too, it'll probably stay better because of the driveway being
Mm.
paved.
Oh, yeah, for
Mm.
sure.
So then it was sprayed Monday, and then we signed up to have him do it in July, so two,
Yeah, I do the same thing.
yeah.
And probably what we should do is windows 1 year, pressure washing
Yeah,
the other year.
Yeah.
Cause both of those things are expensive to have done.
but
Yeah.
they're part of that, keeping everything maintained.
Yeah.
And
And-
he put the storm windows on, so the May list is, looks about all set.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was here a couple weeks ago and just noticed that Tracy put up the.
Yeah.
So we didn't even have to think about
Right.
that.
I
which
think he's
is,
more.
The screens, Tracy put up
Yeah.
the screens, cause usually we had to dog that or get volunteers to do it.
Mhm.
But with Tracy doing it
Tracy's
now,
great.
Yeah.
And now that he's got a helper, that's a big thing.
Yes.
Kenny Bassett is redoing the date sign. To match all the other signs, cause it had a funky font
Oh, okay.
and it didn't look as good, and now we have all those new signs. I don't know.
Which signs are we talking about?
Just the 1930 over the door,
Yeah,
Okay,
so now it matches the two. The font matches the way it's built, the matches,
Yeah.
of course, it turned into a bigger thing, cause when he took the other one off. So he's had to paint. and
Oh.
fix
what is
it.
Kenny's last name?
Bassett, and it's Kenney, Bassett.
And he's also working on town signs.
Yep,
At,
yep, and the library and the,
yeah,
the
Nice.
fire station.
Are they all the same font?
there,
These are, and then he did all 5 signs at the historic
Are
site.
they the same
Yeah,
yeah,
as
so,
this?
yeah,
So it'd be universal
Yeah.
font? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I
and
like
then
that.
at the bridges, he's also going to, hasn't done it yet, but that's a select board thing. Is going to be proposing signs for the entrances
good.
by the bridges,
Good.
which will be this, which
Good.
which will be the same font, I
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah, it'd be neat if it's the same font throughout the town.
Yeah,
Keep it
yeah.
universal, sure.
that's neat.
Oh,
and you know, he's so proud to
Yes.
do that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Well, he does such beautiful work,
He does,
yeah.
he does.
and these, I mean, this one, like he he made, he used what he could of it all, and that, same with the Historical Society. One of them was really bad, but he did a nice.
Yeah.
nice job.
Yeah. So that's it for the building
I think
maintenance?
so.
Okay, great. That brings us to number 10, a motion to adjourn.
It'll just sit on the page.
That's on the hour.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second,
Right.
Paul seconds, Dean, motions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, great.